Good evening and welcome to One Idea Live with me. I'm Ramya Pandian. I also go by Idea Smith or Idea Smithy, and I do this every Wednesday where I invite one of my interesting favorite people, or sometimes it's a stranger that I just find interesting, to come be my date and join me for a conversation on a topic of mutual interest. My topic this week really came from my reconnecting with an old, very dear friend after many, many years, almost a decade. And in our first conversation, we spent so much time just catching up with everything that had happened over the years. And since we are both hovering around the very, very important milestone of 40, and we are on two different sides of 40, but we are round about that neighborhood. We figured our topic today would be midlife pandemic, and my date's already here, so how about I'm going to say hi to all of you in a minute, and let me invite him in. By the way, this is the first time he's appearing on an Instagram live, so give him a lot of. I'm welcoming him with a drum roll. And I'm also going to open my Instagram live on my computer because honestly it's difficult for me to read. And here he is. Hi Rohan, are you able to hear me?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you, and your head is getting a little cut off at the top, so
Right.
maybe you can move back a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Okay, now
Sure.
your features are not as clear. So let me do one thing. I'm just going to get into my Instagram live via my computer as well, so I can read any comments that come in.
Okay.
Because one of the things about hitting midlife is that you start needing stuff like this.
I don't have much options.
Uh, Okay, so pehli baat to
Yes.
Rohan, thank you so much for, well, welcome back into my life and welcome to this
Yes.
live.
I know it's been a pleasure connecting with you after so long.
So
And
good,
it's
so
it's
sweet.
like all the old memories and all the things, it's just
Yeah,
flashback and it's coming into my mind. It's awesome to be here.
I know, right? I started,
Yes.
actually, I went digging up into, well, Goa 14. You remember Goa 14?
Yes, totally.
10, 11 years ago, 12 years ago now. And I
Correct.
found some pictures, and like you said, like every photo is one whole stream of memories. So before we get
Correct.
down into that, stream of memories, let me take a second and say hello to a bunch of new old friends who've been around. So these are all people that
Sure.
I've connected with in the last year. I haven't actually met many of them, but they're
Okay.
as much a part of this live series as I am. So hi, Gautam. Gautam is here. Gautam's a good friend of mine, and he's been a regular on these live. Yoga Trails is here. Okay, if you're all wondering why I'm looking to my right, my computer's on my right. This chashma is to protect my eyes from the glare, and partly to make me look a little smart
Okay.
because I've hit this age. तो थोड़ा तो smart लगने चाहिए. Vamsi is here. Vamsi 18,
Correct.
Shri, Shantanu live. So thank you for being here, people,
Hi,
and
Shri. Shri
be
is
very nice to
one of my
Rohan.
ex-colleagues. Hari
Hi.
Chakyar is there. Hi, Hari. Hari is a friend.
Oh, you know
Yes.
Hari Chakyar as well. I think he's been in this live before. The handle is very familiar. So
Really?
yeah, wow.
Awesome.
Imagine. But it's not really that surprising, no, Rohan, because we've both been part of the digital space, though we've not bumped into each other in almost 10 years.
Correct.
But
So I consider myself
yeah,
to be a little digitally not there in front promoting myself. I have been on the
yeah,
backbench and
yeah.
slowly I am trying to get at the forefront. And yeah, so that's why maybe we didn't connect.
So I think there is a misconception that social media, especially digital and social media, is very very about self promotion and being very loud. And I don't think I
Correct.
promote myself that much. People in the room back me up on this. I know this is
Yeah,
my face and my feed is full of my photos only, but I have very logical reasons for it. It's a very
correct,
simple thing. If it's my own
correct.
photos, then I don't get into copyright issues. I don't get into anyone saying ये अच्छा नहीं लगा, you always shoot me in my bad angles, ये वो this that and all, none of that nonsense. It's just my own face only. That's really
True,
the only
true.
reason. It's content. That's
Yeah.
Hey,
What
Shonali
I
here.
find,
Shonali is another old dear friend, college friend, in fact.
okay, Mujib is
Yeah.
here. Mujib is one of my latest new Instagram friends. He's
Hi,
here. Hi, Mujib.
hello.
So the best thing I like about digital is, the possibilities it unfolds when you
Yeah,
connect with people, when you talk to people, and you
yeah,
form
yeah,
a
yeah.
connection over a
True,
topic, whether it's
true,
movies or music or whatever, and then that
true.
thin sort of connection holds you for months, years, and then you slowly become friends. That's just amazing, I
Hannah,
think.
I think that's been
Yeah.
the case. I fell in love with social media in 2004 when it wasn't even called social media. That time there were only blogs. And I
True.
was like, my mind was blown by the idea that I could be sitting in Mumbai in one tiny office and, saying something, and someone sitting in another part of the world somewhere could relate to
Yeah.
what I was saying and, share their stories and make those connections. We would
Correct.
never have
Correct.
met, no, had it not been for social media because we are not,
Absolutely.
while we are both part of digital, we've moved in very different circles, I think.
Correct. Correct.
So,
Also, now if you look back, the way we are, I won't call it teenage, but in our 20s, we
yeah,
connected, we bonded. Now we are
yeah,
growing old, right? Platforms are emerging, platforms are dying, and through
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just the medium that is connecting us. So the
true.
tribe is getting older, wiser, and it's just amazing, yeah, if you look at it.
Well, I hope it's getting wiser.
I
Which
think
will bring.
ask my
I
wife.
want. She's in the live right now, isn't she? So
Yes, yes, she's here.
I
Hi,
I
Pradeepa.
exchanged a few DMs with her in the middle of this week. So
Correct,
hi Pradeepa. Good connecting. Okay, Shonali
correct.
is saying so romantic, Ramya. अरे इसमें romantic क्या बात है? Okay, like okay. Shona and I go back like from the 90s. We've been friends since then. So I
Okay,
can never
okay.
tell whether she's making fun of me or whether she's being like super serious. So ये चलता रहेगा. She's been on the live
Okay.
twice herself,
Correct,
so
correct.
this is just
Awesome.
going to keep happening. But Rohan, so midlife crisis has it hit yet?
Yes, I would say it has hit, and it has hit at a very
Hard.
unexpected sort of, point in life.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I think there is no sort of rule book, or there is no playbook that says, this is how you
yeah,
deal with your crisis. Um,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
so it's happening. It's here.
yeah, yeah. I think
Correct.
it just sort of people of our generation it coincided with anyway the age related midlife crisis. वो anyway होता है, I think we you go through your 20s like as a new adult, so first job and maybe first love and whatever, all those
Correct.
experiences, and then
Correct.
in your 30s suddenly you're like there is usually a turn, an about turn somewhere around 30, where we're like,
Right.
okay, maybe a breakup happens, a relationship ends, maybe you change careers, maybe you've had hopefully one or two jobs by then, maybe you have
Right.
traveled a bit, maybe even lived in a
Right.
couple of cities.
Correct.
So then it becomes a certain, okay, that is not what I wanted, now this is what I want. And it
Yes.
seems like
Yes.
around 40, mid 40s type, people are like, I was supposed to have the answers by now, and I know even less. Do you get that feeling? Because I am
Absolutely. I
totally
get that
seeing
feeling.
that feeling.
I get that feeling every day because by nature I've been how do I say, I've been like a seeker who
Yeah,
always sought answers to questions within. And I think, I wanted to become a priest at one point in my life, and I
yeah,
wanted to help people. I wanted to, sort
yeah,
of be there for the society and do good and all that. My
yeah,
definition
yeah.
of the world was very black and white,
True.
and somewhere down the line, that didn't happen. And as I'm growing older, I think, yes, marriage, okay, I've cracked it. Wife, girlfriend to wife, I've cracked it. Job, security, I've cracked it. And then
Yeah,
again, when you think you cracked it,
yeah,
the goalpost just further expands. And you're like, hey, that's not fair, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it's every day, it's like a challenge, and you deal with it. I mean, we put up happy pictures of ourselves on social media, on
Sure. Yeah,
Instagram,
yeah, yeah.
we may
Absolutely.
look like you look at our LinkedIn profiles and we are like next to Elon Musk, we invented the internet. But in reality, when you look at people and when you have like a
Yeah.
heart-to-heart chat and
Yeah, yeah.
we are all on the same boat. There are no answers,
True, true, true.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll just take a second to say hi to Sparkwell. Sparkwell Mumbai and I connected in the comment section last week when my last week's date brought them in. Varun
Correct.
Wahi, I'm guessing is a friend of yours, saying
Yes,
there's no
Varun Vahi is a
answer,
friend
there's
of
no
mine.
spoon. Okay, there's no
Remember
spoon,
Matrix.
guys. Remember Matrix.
Okay, Varun, we take a note of that.
Yes. I don't know what the deal with the
Yeah.
spoon is, but I'm sure it has some very wise interpretation.
I think Varun is sitting in Dubai with a drink and he's just
Ah,
happy.
cheers. इसमें
Yeah,
पानी है, but just assume that it's. Hello,
correct.
writer Sunny Saini. Thank you so much. Looking really nice today. Thank you. Hey, everyone in the comment section. आजकल कोई बोलता ही नहीं रम्या looking nice, makeup is very awesome and all that. Very bad, हाँ? कि ये भी होने लगता है. People start taking you for granted. मैंने सुना है,
Correct.
I've heard 7 year itch and all. शादी के बाद ऐसे होता है. ये 7
Correct.
महीने भी नहीं हुए and my followers, readers, commenters, friends have already started taking me for granted. So very
Maybe
bad.
maybe you need to start paying your followers. Do it right. Oh
नहीं,
God.
हम like payment वाले followers नहीं, like okay, I'm messing up the dialogue. Let's move away from that. But
फिर हम रम्या इज लुकिंग हॉट हम उसको ट्रेंड करा देंगे.
oh God, and then you know what? Then I'll have to say that a certain political party is after my life, and then I'll have to post pictures of that. You know what? Let's just move away from all
Let's
that
not
because I
discuss. Let's not go there. Yeah, correct.
let's not even go there.
Yes.
That's just, yeah. So that's another thing. I just realized something today evening.
Yeah,
You get the feeling that you're getting scared the older you're getting.
scared. Yes, because in some ways the finite aspect of things sort of just comes uh, into your life in a more clear way.
Yeah, yeah,
And also, it has got to do with some of the losses I've had in life. So as I'm growing old, I realize that it's only so much we have, so much time we
yeah,
have, and
yeah,
24 hours, a day,
yeah,
and that is quite scary actually. I mean,
yeah,
I never
yeah.
thought 24 hours is
हम लगेंगे.
yeah, and
Mhm.
yeah, I get that feeling. I get that feeling. So a lot,
Yeah,
and when you are touching 40s, you pretty much accept who you are, right? You whatever you did, you did.
yeah.
Wherever life wanted to take you, pretty much it has done that. Whatever you
Hmm.
wanted to achieve, materialistically, spiritually, emotionally, you have pretty much, you reach a place of stability when you touch
Hmm.
40, and
Hmm.
your next 20 years or 10 years or whatever, is there,
Yeah,
how it is going to pan out. So
right.
some things, some dreams, some notions that you always lived with.
Yeah,
I think millennials undergo through this notion. We all were taught that we were special, we were different, and we
yeah,
had this magic charm and whatnot.
yeah, yeah.
So that piece definitely crumbled, and you see through the reality much more clearly. And
Hmm.
yeah, it happens. How about you? I want to know your perspective too.
So I was always a darpok even as a child. I'm scared
Okay,
to cross the road, scared of the dark, scared of loud noises and all of that. And
correct.
I think I had a notion that the older I got, the wiser I would become. And
Hmm.
in my mind, wiser meant I would know a lot more. It was, of course, a very black and white definition. It was a very superficial definition. Like I would look very confident. I would be very confident, and confidence itself is a very it's actually a very shallow notion, because I think you reach this age and realize that confidence is very easy to fake. It's actually
Correct.
really easy to fake.
Correct. Correct.
But there is something deeper than confidence that some people seem to embody,
Correct.
which one always feels like an imposter, because it's like, I'm not like that person. I'm not quite that. And I think somewhere for me, what had happened is, like you again, I think I hit most of my goals around my 30s,
Right.
late 30s, especially professional, career wise, and all that.
Right.
Whatever I had in my mind. And I had hit this realization of, this is not making me happy. And that was it's a heavy realization, because it's like, itni mehnat, and I'm getting accolades also, and it's
Right.
not like I'm feeling dead inside, and that's a very bad feeling. But
I know.
looking back, I realize also it's a turning point. So in that sense, it's a good feeling, because if that feeling doesn't come, I think for me at least, I would have spent another 40 years doing the same thing and reached the end of my life and realized to be like, there's not enough time. And I've met enough of people now who actually say things like, it's too late for me now, and all that makes me very sad when I hear that from them.
Yes.
So in that sense,
Yes.
I went through that. But now, like you're saying, I'm starting to realize one is, a lot of the goals that I had in mind were so shallow. So
Right.
now there is a certain sense of, so what really is there to look forward to next? And now
Right.
there is a younger generation that is articulate. They're all adults and they're looking to us for answers. People in their 20s,
Yes.
early 20s and all that, because we are managers to them, we are older siblings, we are even uncles and
Correct.
aunts, things like
Correct.
that, mentors maybe. So, and then when they ask how do I figure out what I want to do in life, I like, yaar, I still don't know what I want to do with mine. मैं क्या जवाब दूं? And it
I
feels
know.
really bad to even tell them that, because it's such a scary realization for us to deal with. Now, to tell
Right.
someone who's so wide-eyed and so it's naive, but also they have so much of idealism around about the world. अच्छा लगता है वो
Correct.
देख के. So then that bit of it is scary. And like you said, the other side of it, we're also in between. We are realizing there's so little time, and
Right.
the people that we looked up to are getting older, because they've gone into
Right.
the older bracket, and it's just there's just so much that's
I know.
scary all around.
I know. I know.
So
I know.
it, it's like fear के साथ नया रिश्ता बन गया अभी.
That's very true. That can be a good topic for another live. Fear ke saath
We
naya
actually
rishta.
2 weeks ago we did a
Okay.
live on fear. So
Okay.
talking about fear
Okay.
and this and so
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think the
Yeah. I
pandemic
mean, I
is just
totally.
forced us to sit with these
Right.
thoughts now.
Right. Right. I totally get what you're saying, and it reminds me of this conversation I had with my mother once.
Huh,
And
huh.
she was like, I'm your mother. You think I know all the answers. And how do I tell you that in my head, I'm still that 16-year-old girl
Yeah.
who didn't know much to navigate
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
navigate
Yeah.
through life. And
Right. Right.
I'm still seeking answers. I'm still dumbfounded, and that made me realize, like, oh my God, like, we put our
Yeah.
parents in a pedestal, or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
unknowingly the society teaches us ki parents are gods, treat them with
Correct. Correct.
respect, and we
True.
we we go to them for all
True.
answers. That's when I realized that, yeah, that's how life is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a,
So
I mean, that bit of it is it's again not a, and I think it's very specific to, very true, especially in India, because India is very, across geographies and religions and all, there is that whole parents are like gods. And that's not
correct.
necessarily a good thing, because, we don't let them have their flaws or their weaknesses, and they don't get to feel like they're allowed to have that either. And when
Right.
that realization really hits, it's very difficult for both parties. Hey, Nihal
Right.
is here.
Right.
Nihal is a classmate of mine, and Aarti
Oh,
is also here.
hi Nihal.
Hi, Aarti. Yeah,
Hi
hello.
Aarti.
So, some
Great.
interesting questions, huh? And this week has been particularly. I mean, every week, I think it's wonderful that people are very generous. They come in and share their stories as well. this
Right,
week
right.
particularly was very interesting because it felt like, and we didn't plan it that way, but there was a lot of really profound sharing that came in. And I spoke to you before this live
Correct,
about a couple of
correct,
them.
correct,
So I feel like this topic has really touched a lot of people right now, even if they are not really in their near
correct,
40 mark.
correct, correct.
Because it seems like, especially millennials, whether it's the older millennials like us or even the younger millennials who are in their 20s, everything
Hmm.
is sped up so quickly. Even that midlife crisis thing is happening earlier, and the pandemic though has just thrown all body clocks and calendars and schedules, everything, all plans out of the window. No?
Correct, correct,
So it's
correct.
a so this is for everyone in the live right now. Whatever age you are at is the things that Rohan and I are talking about. This whole midlife crisis. Do you relate to this? Whatever age you are, and if you are not like late 30s, early 40s, then tell us that as well in the comments because that's really interesting to hear.
Correct.
I'm just kind of curious
Swati
to
has
know. Like,
joined. Starfire. Hi, hi.
hi, hello, Swati. You said hi.
Yes, Swati. Starfire is a handle.
So I'm sure you know why, but this reminds me of Goa 14 again.
Yes, I know
I feel
why.
like we should tell the others what this magical Goa 14 is. Because
Yes,
there's
we should.
nobody from the original Goa 14 other than you and me here.
Correct, 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 correct.
You want
So,
to do the honors?
yeah, so I think we were all working. We were in our late,
20s.
no, late 20s, correct. And we all randomly, there was a thread that started on Twitter, then went into our emails. Hey guys, let's go to Goa. And
Yeah.
yeah, there were 14 of us. And in my head, Goa 14, I thought it was in 2014. And then I remember, Ramya, you corrected me, it was 2009. So
2009.
way back in 2009, 14 of us who didn't know much about each other, we just came to
We
Goa
didn't,
14.
like, I think you and I met for the first time in Goa.
Really?
I
I thought
don't think
we
we
met.
had met before that.
No, we met in block camp, Ramya, if you remember.
Oh, right.
W-
Yes.
Word,
See, but again, block camp
WordPress.
also happened a couple of months before that only. And I know this
Yes,
because I quit my corporate job in June 2009. And uske baad
correct,
hi, because before that I was completely, there was, ek to time nahi tha, mindset also, I didn't have a social life. And
correct, correct,
once I quit, it was like, my whole calendar, it was like suddenly it was almost like मेरा घर कचड़े से भरा हुआ था. Not that my work
correct,
was kachda, but still it was crammed, and suddenly all the furniture has been emptied out, all the people have been emptied out. It was like इतनी जगह है. I felt that way about time, so
correct,
I went to everything I could attend, including block camps. So I
correct,
think that
correct.
must have been only a couple of months before.
Yes,
So
yes. Those were
yeah,
the days we used to read each other's blogs, comment,
yeah,
and we used to like really, then when we used to meet for coffee or chai and whatever, we used
yeah.
to discuss what did you
Meetups.
write. Yeah, tweet
Coffee
ups. My
meetups.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rohan, another
Yes.
memory. This was
Yeah.
back when so Twitter was very new, so there weren't that many people on Twitter. There was
Correct.
no at mentions tab. So you would have to go
Yes.
and like you had to follow everyone and then go and look at every one of their tweets to see इसने मेरा कुछ जवाब दिया क्या. I mean that's
Correct.
like even
Correct.
more primitive than email. Email was better than that in 2009.
Correct. 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 My God. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Now,
and
the
blog
other day I
posts
was
also.
talking to, yeah,
Huh.
the other day I was talking to one of
No,
my juniors and I was saying,
yeah,
we were on Facebook before there was a Facebook video, before there was some Facebook
yeah.
live or whatever, the older version of Facebook. And they're like, how does that, how did you
I
guys
was on
navigate?
Facebook before Facebook pages existed. So my
Correct, me
original
too.
profile was called Idea Smith because that was my way to interact with everyone in my blog world because I was anonymous. I had like this compartmentalized life now and Facebook didn't
Correct,
mind at that time. Then only a couple of years ago I changed it to Ramya Pandian.
correct,
Otherwise,
correct, correct.
yeah.
Right. So, couple of
Another
answers we
time.
are getting.
Yep.
Pradeepa is saying mid 30s can
Mid
easily
30s.
relate to the midlife crisis.
I
Feels
feel
like
like
there's
there's
still
so
so much left to do. Yeah,
and
and
just a
just a few
few
more
more
years
years.
in hand. Correct.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
know.
That's true. Swati is
Swati
also
is
saying
saying,
yes. Yeah,
I
you can
think
read.
I reached midlife crisis while dealing with early on life crisis. I guess crises are just an ongoing part of life. So, Rohan, I don't
That's
know if you
true.
remember, but in the 2000s, there was this one thing, and I don't have another word for it, that went, I mean, us time pe, there was nothing called virality either. Mid
Yes.
2000s. So, social media didn't have a name. Facebook was just like this thing that some people were doing. And we were
Correct.
very thrilled where STD phones थे also. We would be like, oh, okay, wow. And all office में जाके STD call करेंगे and that kind of stuff. कोई check नहीं
Correct.
करेगा and
Correct.
all. And mobile
Correct.
phones were not smartphones. They were just like
Correct.
mobile
The
phones,
old,
Nokia.
older versions. Correct.
Correct,
Correct.
correct. And there was this one article that was getting passed around on the internet, on people's
Okay.
emails, on websites and all. And the title was "Tips from a Speech Never Given." And a couple of years later, I think that was written in the 90s. It appeared in one US newspaper. And then
Okay.
at some point of time, when the internet came up, somebody converted it to digital format, and it got passed on from blog to blog, and then email
Okay.
to email. And then Baz Luhrmann turned it into a song called Wear Sunscreen. Remember
Oh,
that?
I of course know the song,
Ah,
but I didn't know the origin of that
that
song
is
was
the
like this.
origin. And
Oh my
it talks
God.
about a lot of the things that we are facing now. It talks about things like
Yes.
don't fuss too much with your hair because by the time you're 40, it'll look 75.
Correct.
Uh,
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Forget insults, throw away old written love
I
letters, forget
I
insults.
remember the
And
song. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's
And
so beautiful.
around the same time, there was at least some article I read, I think like very linked with this only, something called quarter life crisis. And this was
Mm-hmm.
when we were in our 20s. So I must have
Correct.
been around 25, 26. So you would have been around 23, 24, I think.
Correct. Correct.
And,
Correct.
there was this whole quarter life crisis was basically we thought we life was going to look a certain way when we were
Hmm.
teenagers, and then we
Correct.
came out into our 20s and found a very different world from the one we had prepared for. And
Yeah.
this is something I keep like this has been like the defining, like I started adulthood right into recession. So like
Yes. Correct.
recession, our parents' generation had never heard of recession, and suddenly like recession and twin
Correct.
towers and all that. So
Yeah.
quarter life
Yeah. Yeah.
that. And there were all these
Correct.
careers that were not around when we were even studying to, well, become adults. So
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
took all of that. So that was quarter life
Hmm.
crisis. So
Correct.
midlife crisis, in a lot of ways, seems like more of the same.
Correct. Correct. Like how
Like there is,
Swati mentioned, it seems like it just doesn't get over. So I think crisis keeps happening, and it's all up to us how we react to it and how well prepared we are.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd forgotten that you had told me, and the reason I also wanted to bring up Goa 14 is while we may have known of each other, in the passing, and at least for me, people that I saw on digital, which was at that time blogs and a little bit of Twitter. Twitter for me was like blogs ka chota bhai, microblogging.
Correct.
So
Correct.
they were
Microblogging.
just
Nobody
the
uses that
screen.
term, by the way, huh? Microblogging.
No, it's like information superhighway. Nobody uses that term either.
Yes. Correct.
So that's a very fixed term. Or
Correct.
web browser. This is web browser.
Correct.
Anyway, so,
Yeah.
or application. Like, I don't think most kids today know that app is short for application. Okay,
Correct.
now I'm
Correct.
just getting super old. But at that time, and I think this is something that's very unique to our generation only, because the
Yeah.
generations before us be like I like telling the story. I once wrote an article called Tindering in My 30s, and
Okay.
young friend of mine, an 18-year-old friend of mine, said it is very nice to see that your generation is so open to finding love on the internet. I'm like, my dear child, my generation invented cybersex.
Oh
Cybersex
God.
I'm like,
Correct.
sex that you kids are doing, uska
Correct.
granddaddy was cybersex.
Correct. 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 That's
We had to
hilarious.
explain to our families and all that it is possible to meet someone in a chat room and find a connection with them. It is possible to become
Oh
friends.
yes. Correct.
So,
Correct.
so for me, it
Correct.
was still a very like names that I saw on screen, which is why I think I don't remember the blog camps and all were like That's not real life. That's almost like going for a movie. While I'm in the movie, I'm watching, and then when I walk out, I forget about it. But Goa,
Right.
I remember we went to Goa, and it was only 3 days, but we ended up having some very, very, really good conversations. And you and
Correct.
I also,
Correct.
all of us, all the
Yes.
competitors and the 14 people. And
Correct.
I think that's what really cemented the friendships we've gone on to have. And
Correct.
I think
Correct.
every very close, even though some of us have not met in years.
Yes.
Um, I was invited to two of the weddings. I managed to make it to one of the weddings, and so many things have happened. So I
Correct.
have met
Correct. Correct.
friends and all that stuff. So
Correct.
it's just
Correct.
really interesting journey. Stuff
Yes.
saying also we have been taught always to stay prepared for midlife crisis. But when we do reach there, we forget to apply all the learnings. I remind myself often as this is the time to apply the learnings. Oh man, yeah, I
Yeah.
know, right? We keep making preparations for tomorrow and not realize अभी वो preparation जिसके लिए किया वो आज है.
Swati, you're just sounding like a school teacher. But yes, what she said is right.
That
Absolutely true.
So I think it had slipped my mind. I remember now you're telling me when we were in Goa, I think I remember you're telling me
Yes.
that point of time you wanted to be a priest and see
Correct.
that's very it's a very profound sharing. You don't that's not the kind of thing you just tell anybody.
Correct.
Or you
Correct.
just at least at that age, उस time में these are like very these are very
Correct.
character shaping decisions, na?
Yes.
Life
Yes.
decisions.
Yes. Yes.
So,
So,
yeah,
yeah. So, AJ, the defender, Ashley, he's joined. Hello, Ashley. He's one of my very close family friends from my church in Bombay, and I mean, his family has. I mean, it's one of the families that we really look up to, and they've done a lot for
wow.
our community. So yes. So talking about priesthood, yes, so my conditioning actually happened in a way where there was this mother figure in my life, which is my mother, and she was always her outlook of the world has what shaped me in my formative years. And my dad was working in Abu Dhabi, and the manly side of that father figure was sort of missing in my growth years. So I naturally imbibed, whatever my mother's worldviews were. And those worldviews were very black and white. Things are either like this or things are either like that. And
Oh,
as a kid, you just, sort of imbibe that and you go ahead uh, and I was sort of, active in church. We had a whole community thing going on. Some of my best friends, even till today, are from my church, and we connect.
okay.
And we all have grown older. Our worldviews have changed drastically. We still manage to keep in touch. And
Yes.
then when I sort of nurtured this dream, I went and achieved it. I got yes.
A friend just walked in. Danish is here. Danish is a star, and I'm so happy to say friend of mine as well. Thank you
Oh,
for dropping in,
awesome!
Danish. Yeah.
Hi, Danish.
Danish, by the way, is part of a show that's on air right now on Netflix India, Bombay
What?
Begums. Go catch. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I've been watching. I'm on season 3 right now. So I think I'm gonna finish that
Pooja
soon.
Bhatt's husband is played by Danish.
Oh my God. Okay,
Yes, that
awesome.
guy.
Awesome.
Yes.
He's a
See,
big
Rohan, I know
man.
famous people. I know famous people.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big man. I think I follow him on Insta.
Twitter.
He also
Acha.
writes some poetry, I
Yeah.
believe.
He's an
Okay.
excellent
Hi,
poet.
Danish. We are so honored that you are here.
Starstruck.
Yes.
Now we should go back to talking, otherwise Danish will leave.
Yeah, yeah. So, yes, so that priesthood thing, happened, and I pursued that dream, and then I went and I saw something else, a completely different version that we as
Yeah,
normal people don't see, and
yeah.
I was not up for it. It shattered
Right.
me, and I sort of gave up that dream, came back, and then back joined corporate life again. It's
Yeah,
only very recently, Ramya, I have come to terms with that, and I openly
yeah,
talk about it. I
yeah.
edited my LinkedIn profile. Anyway, 90% of my LinkedIn profile is a lie. So I edited it and I said, no, this
I don't
truth
think you
has
should
to
be
come out.
saying that on a live, Rohan.
It's okay. So I edited it and I said, yes, I went and I studied theology,
Yeah,
and you won't believe, Ramya, when I accepted that,
yeah,
uh, after a few weeks, a stranger wrote to me, and she's a coach, she's a mentor, and she said, Rohan, I really love the fact that you have transitioned from theology to digital marketing, and you're open about that part of your life. That's really great.
right.
And I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
man, that made my day. Just one
Yeah.
observation, one comment from a stranger, it really like peps you up. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's profound on so many levels, no? Because so I don't remember whether I've shared this with you, but I grew up in a Christian village. It's a village, Marol
Okay.
village, and
Correct. Correct.
Catholic school and all
Absolutely.
that. It's a
Correct.
it's a culture. It's not just a school. So
Right.
you can take a kid out of Christian school, but you can't take a
Right.
Christian school out of the kid. So
Right.
and it's not just the rituals, but that whole way of thinking. So I'm very familiar. I'm not only very familiar. It's almost like that's part of my culture. Even though on forms and all, I would not mark Christian as my religion, but I'm
Right.
not religious. But
Right.
I'm familiar with the familiar, and it feels very. That's part of my
Known.
roots and my history as well. Yes,
Right.
known.
Right. Correct. Correct.
And I know I completely recognize this whole because my worldview has been the same as yours. I was also shaped by that very somewhat safe also and very
Yes.
reassuring worldview of good and evil and
Correct.
ethics and morality and who you are with relating to the world. Yes,
Guess Vodkaholic has joined. Hi,
hello.
Jayashri.
And Richard is also here. Richard is another dear friend who's also been on the live.
Okay.
But
Okay.
and with
All
whom
right.
I've had these
Awesome.
conversations
Hi,
as well.
Richard. Okay. Okay.
So
Great.
that what you're talking about, no, that whole it's a spiritual clash, not even a culture clash, a spiritual clash that
Yes.
happens when we go out into the real world and discover it's
Yes.
not as just because you're good to people doesn't mean they'll be good to you, and there are things about yourself that you discover you don't like and all of that.
Correct.
And in at some point where you embrace that realization, that's
Yes.
again it takes some time before we even get to that point.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sharing it, I've had similarly magical experiences on the internet where out of the blue somebody writes me and mails me, DMs me, and says something I said touched them, or they say something which in turn and that connection is gone after that. It's not like we've kept in touch, but it's like
Yes.
strangers have just come and touched each other's lives in very profound ways and moved.
Correct.
Richard is
Correct.
saying, I came in time to hear Catholic culture being discussed. Well, Christian culture. So, yeah. Katil is here. Katil was my date last week, and Katil has very
Hi,
strictly
Katil.
told me to chill out and be laid back. Sushant is also here. Wow. All my diva friends
Okay.
are coming into the live. Yay.
Oh, hi,
Beautiful,
Sushant.
Sushant. Hello.
Okay.
Okay, which doesn't mean that the rest of you are not beautiful. So, all of you are beautiful.
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh God.
Great.
Okay, Katil is just saying hi. Okay. So a couple of the questions I didn't get any answers to also. Like there were questions that answers came bhar bhar ke, and then I felt like maybe the question also touched on two sore points. One of them
Correct.
was what's the regret that you have, and how have you coped with it? Because I was
Correct.
just pondering this whole notion of one of the many things of midlife crisis is okay. Katil is saying, "What's with the unpainted face?" I'm going to lean in closer so you can see all the painting that has been happening.
Oh my God. We can see it now. I mean,
Yes.
I couldn't see it earlier.
So I thought I'll be a little
Awesome.
subtle because midlife and all is happening. So let me try and be a little like.
Correct. A little mature for a change. Oh God.
She,
Yeah.
Katir, I was all set to give some very profound bhashan now, and
Yeah.
derailed.
Correct.
Oh God. अब मैं भूल गई मैं क्या बोलने वाली थी.
Hmm.
Regrets.
Okay. Yes, regrets. Yes, you were
Let,
talking about.
let's, you know what? Let's throw it open to the people in the live only. I mean, thoda hum bhi hase and
Sure.
let them be a little wise. What
Sure,
is
sure,
something
sure.
that you regret, and how do people cope with regret?
Correct.
And you and I should also talk randomly in between. यहाँ इधर
Yeah.
उधर की बातें करते हैं.
हाँ, ठीक है. So I think that's an interesting topic, and I think one of the reasons why we didn't get many answers is because many of us are still finding or struggling to find a coping mechanism to our regret. So when you ask, normally what is your biggest regret?
Yeah.
Everyone with a straight face will say that कोई regrets नहीं यार, it's all fine, things are good. But internally, we all know what our regrets are,
Yeah.
and we haven't really found a coping mechanism to it.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah.
who have a coping mechanism, have overcome it, have accepted and forgiven the person that they were. I find they are much more open about talking about regrets, and I think that takes a
Yeah.
lot of inner work. It takes a lot of healing, self
True.
healing, and whatever works for every one of us.
True that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
written by Ricard of Swans. He
Yeah,
said
that's
something.
Richard. That's Richard.
Richard,
Written
right?
by Ricardo Burns. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I cope by rationalizing the heck out of it. All sour grapes, really. Yeah, I
Well,
think,
that's also
yeah, we do that, but I don't think that actually, because it's like that kachra is still sitting inside the head. It's
correct.
still there. It's just brushed under the carpet. And as I'm discovering, especially if a pandemic hits you when you're touching 40 and already facing midlife crisis, suddenly
Right.
all you have to do is clean the house and then sit with the kachra inside your head and say there is so much kachra under the carpet, there is no room to breathe anymore. So I
I
have to
know.
sit and clean that also out.
Correct.
So
Correct.
yeah, it's been a very, very, not just humbling, it has literally been like, I thought I had reached till 35, till 40, been here, and now it's like, shoot that brick down, shoot that brick down, take this down, take that down, take that down. It's like I'm crumbling.
Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
yeah.
So, yeah,
But we're making it sound very, like, very sad and make them dukhi dukhi, na, getting older. I think I'm the
I
oldest
know.
person in the room now. So let
I
us
know.
make this cheerful and happy. What are some good things about getting older?
The good things about getting older is I mean, if you are still in the rat race, you end up having with some money, and you can spend the money
Yeah.
however you want.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
on the you're on the you're slightly on the affluent side, as you're growing old.
Yeah. No, no,
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm not even laughing at that. It's like so much of all the heartache and all the compromises and regrets I feel like I had to make through my 20s.
correct.
Um I mean, maybe it's a rationalization, but I'm like, that paved the way for all the experiences I was able to have in my 30s. Whether
Yes,
it was,
yes.
just being able to go and perform, and I started performing at the age of 35.
Right.
So, because I didn't have to worry about this poem, will it go viral or not? Will someone invite me and pay me to do a gig or not? I'm not saying I'm very
Mm-hmm.
rich, but it's like I had a career, so I know that, well, there is a certain established model, so I can kind of keep going back there, and I'm not relying on this. So
Correct,
that bit,
correct.
sure. I think
Another
there's also
thing about, sure.
Pradeepa is saying you're okay with making mistakes. You don't feel like it's the end of the world anymore. And Swati Starfire
Yes.
is saying, I think acceptance of the unknowns about a regretful situation, the things we keep questioning for years, acceptance of the fact that we'll not ever know certain answers helps me deal with regrets. Yeah, yeah, well said.
Yeah.
And
Well said, Swati, and well said, Pradeepa. So,
yeah,
bordering on what Pradeepa said, you're okay with making mistakes. You don't feel like it's end of the world. I think old age also brings a certain amount of fearlessness in you. Yes, we talked about the fear aspect
yeah,
earlier, but now you are like, you want something, you want to go get it, or
yeah,
you're
yeah.
thinking about, is that a risky move, or is it really
Correct,
going
correct.
to hamper me? You're like,
True,
go get it.
true,
let's
true.
let's just do it. You get that kind of feeling as well.
I don't call that fearlessness. For me, at least, it feels more like shamelessness. And I really mean shamelessness
Okay.
because, and I'm thinking very specifically, say, I had stage fright since I was a kid. I've actually been
Okay.
performing since I was a kid. I used to sing and all that, typical Tam House or
Yeah,
Carnatic
yeah.
music and all that. And I never liked
Quirky
it.
Head, Quirky Head has joined Sakshi. Hi,
Hello.
Sakshi. She's a friend.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
And so as soon as I was able to not do it, I stopped
Okay.
performing, that is.
Okay.
And I had stage fright and all that. And I have literally, I remember way back, I've frozen on stage and it was a very traumatic experience and everyone is laughing and all that. But
Right.
I think after 30, early 30s, I went through a really, really big personal crisis. Engagement ended and all that. And at
Right.
least at that point of time, the overwhelming emotion was humiliation. Other than,
Hmm.
the heartbreak and all that, of course. And I felt like everything is shattered around me.
Correct.
And once I realized that, okay, I'm still breathing, unfortunately for me. It hurts a lot,
Right.
but I'm still breathing. So I can't, just check out and say, like, it's gone blink. Now I have to find
Yes.
a way to cope. Then it became a, अभी क्या यार, worst case I go and bomb on stage. Like, I've seen much worse than this. चलो ठीक है, कोई
Yeah.
हंसेगा तो हंसे. Like, if they say I
Correct.
didn't rhyme or I mispronounced a word or
Right.
like
Right.
something not looking good and all that, I've
Right.
dealt with the worst blow than this, so this will not hurt me. That's what I mean by shamelessness. I think there's a certain like, हाँ ठीक है.
Right.
I will probably. I mean, this will hurt, but I will probably most likely get over it. I will not. It will not kill me. So
Correct. Correct.
yeah.
Talking about shamelessness, I still struggle with my grammar. So when I go and I look back at my blog, some of the things I've written, I'm like, ये सब गलत है यार. मतलब क्या लिखा है मैंने? कचरा. It's not even proper grammar.
Well, then we should talk a lot more because I'm very egoistic. I have not deleted any of my posts. 2004 में मैं लिखने लगी. I still have
Okay.
those because I feel
Okay.
very good.
Okay.
When I go back and read them, I feel very good. Not because they're so good and all that, but
Correct.
it's like, look how far I've come today. Like, I know what is
Mm.
wrong. And I did the
Correct.
best I could at that time. And like, because it's a constant reminder, look how far I've come. Look how much better I
Yes.
look, how much better I spell, how many more words I know, how many more stories I have. So it's
Yes.
just like,
Yes.
like everything is a reason to feel good about yourself only. Like,
Correct. Correct. Yeah, that's
so
true. That's lovely.
be shameless about vanity also, because that's the other thing, no, we were all taught be modest and be like, don't be proud,
Humble.
be
Yeah, don't
humble.
be proud.
uh,
Correct, correct. I suffer
you
from
know,
that complex so much. And now when I
I don't
look
know if you
back,
had this word when I was in school. This is not a bona fide English word. I think it's a Christian school word. Proudy.
yeah.
She's very proudy.
Yes. I think Christian English word, whatever, that thing, culture, plus the South Indian culture, I think it's a mishmash of that. And that's why I
Correct.
say, oh,
True.
very
South Indian
proudy.
also.
That,
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking
Yes.
proudy है, तो proudy was like such an insult. And proudy is
Correct.
basically that. Somebody who is very confident and okay with how they are. If you're okay with
Correct.
how you are, then you're a proudy.
Correct. Correct. Very true.
So now,
Man.
proud to be proudy.
Yes. I'm stealing that line.
Take all the
Oh
lines you
God.
want.
Yeah.
So, by the
Correct.
way, we have got
Yes.
into 10:45. We could
Really?
we could chat another. Yeah, I know. I
My
like this. I
God.
love that you're saying really, because then that means I can entice you into doing one more live soon with me.
I was afraid that I would yawn because 10 p.m. is like my sleep time, and I was
I know
like,
you
hey
said
Bhagwan, should
that.
I should I get a coffee? And then I was like, नहीं coffee नहीं लेंगे because then रात को नींद नहीं आएगी, and I'm struggling with my sleep, to be honest. And
Yeah. No. I
I
think
I'm
this
I'm
pandemic
seeking
especially
help.
has thrown off our cycles, no? Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes. So I'm
yeah.
seeking help. Some folks are helping me, and so I was just thinking, coffee नहीं करते. And yeah,
Yeah.
45 minutes has gone. Lovely.
I'm
This is
glad.
awesome.
I'm glad.
I want to
Yeah.
do more live.
Yay! And I have it on record, so I will have you back
Yes,
soon. But before
Correct.
we still let's chat for another couple of minutes. Aarti is here, and
Sure.
Aarti says it's a '90s word. Yeah, maybe it's a '90s word. I didn't know that. I don't know whether it was a
Yes.
Christian school thing or a South Indian thing or a '90s
Correct.
thing. Yeah. Yeah,
Correct.
Richard
Correct.
is saying, imagine keeping a journal of regrets, then using that as a guide to avoid gathering more of the same. Oh, I've been doing that. I've been doing that for 16 years. I call it my blog. I write about all my ex-boyfriends and all my nonsense, the nonsense men I met. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I write about more
Correct.
than that. Please go check my
Yeah.
blog. But I'm
Correct.
being very proudy over here and not letting you talk, Rohan.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Look at
In
this.
fact,
Everyone is coming in
while
now when I'm saying हम लोग निकले. This is very bad. Kavan is coming now. Writing Tom is coming now. I mean, I'm very happy you
correct.
people are coming now, but you're all like coming like मुंह दिखाने के लिए when we are getting ready to leave.
Correct. Correct.
So, Rohan, would you like to plug something for the people who are here?
Yes, so I thought about it, to plug. My initial reaction was there's nothing to plug. But then, yes, there's something that has affected me and I've dealt with it, and there is a solution available. So I want to plug that. It's about
Okay.
pet bereavement.
Okay.
I had a pet I was very close to, and unfortunately, I lost that pet. And it has taken me a few months and years actually to get over it. I used to joke about it because I've been in situations earlier where people have lost their pet, and I've been on the other side ridiculing them, thinking less of their pain, even in my mind, sort of bullying them. And when it has happened to me, I realized the impact of that pain, the impact of that loss. And I want to just make people aware that pet bereavement today in 2021 is really a thing that happens
Yeah.
to people because you're constantly with that pet 24/7, and it's not a human being, it's actually more than that. And when you lose that pet, it has a huge impact on your life.
Yeah.
And I'm someone that I had to report to work after the loss of my pet the next day, and I really
Yeah.
didn't get time to process my loss. And it's a very not a great feeling.
Yeah.
And the solution available is today there are pet certified pet bereavement advisors, certified pet bereavement counselors. Pradeepa here, Pradeepa underscore Rao. She's one of the certified pet
Oh,
bereavement counselors, and
wow.
uh, and that has prompted us to actually generate more awareness about this thing. It may be a very small thing, and yeah, we are doing it in our own way to create awareness and to deal with and help people deal with it.
I think that's very profound, Rohan. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes,
I
my
mean,
pleasure.
I've never been an animal person, but in the last few years, and especially in the last year, I've become more conscious also of people's connections with different life forms, and
Yes.
I'm not close to animals because of health reasons, because I'm allergic to both dog and cat hair and
Okay.
Bombay
Okay.
flats. So it's and my parents are vegetarians, so all that. But
Correct.
yeah, when I think of, I have plants. I'm a plant parent. I know they're
Correct.
not the same, but
Correct.
when I think of the joy it gives me to see a new flower, a new bud on a plant, and how
Correct.
much it hurts when the plant starts to wilt and die. Even though I know
Correct.
logically this is a natural cycle of life,
Correct.
I can't even imagine the pain that one goes through. And
Yes.
you're right, it's not something people understand. You might still get leave if you say that a member of my family, a human member of my family, passed away. But it's very
Correct.
unlikely that anyone will be willing to support you when you say that an animal member of my family.
Yes.
So I'm
Correct.
glad to know that there is some recognition of that. So Pradeepa is
Yes.
a
Thank you.
certified pet counselor. So all of you animal people here definitely follow Pradeepa as well. I have a quick plug as
Yes.
well. This There is this wonderful person who I've not met. Her name is Indu Harikumar, and she sends out
Okay.
a newsletter called Individuality. Individuality
Okay.
is also her handle on
Yes.
Instagram and on Twitter. So
Okay.
if all of you here have enjoyed the questions that we've been asking and the kind of discussion we've been having this week and to some extent the last couple of weeks as well. I think you'll all like her newsletter as well. So do subscribe. She talks a lot about very personal experiences of identity and belonging and loss and all of this. So I think it's just lovely her sharing and
Great.
her illustrations.
I'm gonna subscribe to her right away. Richard,
All right.
thank
Wait
you
a
for
second,
your
because if you do that
observation.
now, you will exit the live.
Oh, no, 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 no. I was just
Right.
reacting to Richard's comment. He's saying it's very sweet of me. Thank you, man. I've made a new
Yeah.
friend in this live. Richard is my friend. I'm going to follow him also.
Yeah. Richard is wonderful also, by the way. So everybody's
Really?
wonderful. Everybody in my world is
Great.
wonderful.
Awesome.
So, okay. So on that note, shall we close?
Yes, I
I'm
totally loved
loving
it,
this
Ramya.
conversation. I'm
I
I'm
don't know where
super loving
45
this conversation.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I want to keep it under 1 hour because if it goes over an hour, Instagram doesn't let me do certain things with the live, like share it to
Oh,
stories. So that's
okay.
why. Hey, enough,
All
huh,
right.
Richard? Modesty has been kicked out of the live. So no, don't do all this. Hey, no, I'm so
Richard,
boring.
start
He's not.
being a proudy man.
Proudy, proud to be proudy. Okay, that
Correct.
has
Proud
to
to
be
be
the
proudy.
new, like that's what we need to call this. Proud to be proudy.
Yes. Correct.
On
Great.
that
Thank you,
note,
Ramya.
everyone, thank you, Rohan.
Yes.
Thank you so much for, not just this live, but the entire week, and hopefully
Yes.
many more conversations more frequently now.
Yes. Yes,
All right.
absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you. Take care. Good night.
Good night. Sleep well.
Good night. You too.
And
Bye bye.
And everyone who's here, I'm going to save this video to my IGTV as usual. So if you popped in later, then go back and look at it. Also, all the questions and polls that were posted through the week are saved to my collection called Midlife Pandemic. So feel free to go through those. And if you want to respond on those even now, you can just, you can slide into my DMs to respond to those. And you'll have to ask Rohan if it's okay to slide into his
Yeah,
DMs.
please, please. I've made my profile open because I'm proud to be a proudy now.
Yay!
So yes, please go ahead.
All right. Okay.
All
Good
right.
night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
See, I don't know why I said peace. Let me just say, everyone, please wear masks while going out because the numbers are rising in Maharashtra at least. So, I am
Yes,
on that note. I will
absolutely. Very
close.
important.
Public service announcement. Bye.
And last announcement, world peace.
World peace.
Yes.
That is a 90s
Oh,
reference.
yes, I
I
know.
want world peace. This congeniality.
Yes.
Love it. All right. Over and
All
out.
right. Bye bye. Yes, over and
Bye.
out. Bye.